Welcome to Mission Evolution Radio Show with Gwilda Wiyaka, bringing together today's leading experts to uncover ever-deepening spiritual truths and the latest scientific developments in support of the evolution of humankind. For more information on Mission Evolution Radio with Gwilda Wiyaka, visit www.missionevolution.org. And now, here's the host of Mission Evolution, Miss Gwilda Wiyaka.
What happens when we dream? Do we visit another realm? If so, can we choose how we walk there? Mission Evolution Radio Show is coming to you around the world on the X Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net. With us this hour to explore the dreamscape is Braschler. Vaughn is the author of numerous books on consciousness development. Recent books include Time Shifts, 7 Secrets of Time Travel, Manifesting, Confessions of a Reluctant Ghost Hunter, Mysterious Messages from Beyond, and his latest, Lucid Dreams. Vaughn is a former award-winning journalist and former faculty member of the Omega Institute for Holistic Studies. To find Vaughn, visit his Facebook page, facebook.com/vbraschler. Vaughn, thanks for joining us on Mission Evolution.
Thank you, Gwilda. I haven't done a lot of interviews in recent months. Been in the hospital, but I'm back up and running, and thanks for the invite.
Of course, I'm so sorry to hear you were not well.
My last show actually was with Rob on X Zone Radio, and that was like December 1 and December 8. I was in the hospital for open heart surgery.
Oh, Vaughn.
12 and a half hours, heart stopped, and it's like the one thing I want to impart to our listeners is positive mental imagery, folks. Keeps you going.
Well, you would know at this point, right? I'll
Yep.
take you as an authority.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about dreams. Apparently, we're going to talk about near-death experiences later.
Apparently.
Yeah. So, Vaughn, how did you first become interested in dreams?
Oh gosh, I've had such profound dreaming experiences, very lucid dreaming experiences, and once I learned to actually control my lucid dreams and return to them and continue them and explore them and set them up, everything changed. I could explore my past lives. I could explore who I really am and who I really knew and why I was here. And there's so many things that are revealed to us in our dreams as people have known for thousands of years.
So what all kind of dreams are there? You mentioned lucid dreaming.
Yeah. Well, we have stress dreams, and most people are familiar with the dream that's kind of a stored memory in your brain. And we say our mind is the absolute storage of everything, which I doubt. I think there's something much deeper called our inner consciousness. But we have these computer filed memories and impressions and unresolved questions that keep clogging our thoughts. Even when we think we're asleep and we're only partly asleep and we toss and turn, we have what's called a stress dream, because they're very stressful, and in those come what we call common nightmares or sweat dreams or childhood dreams, and they're tossing and turning dreams where we're trying to relive or resolve or make some sense of things that have long vexed us, even when we're wide awake. Those are dreams that usually put us on the psychiatrist's couch. And
So Vaughn, let me get this straight. Are you talking about like you're laying there, you're trying to drift off, you're tossing, you're turning, and all the worries of the world are going through your head, but you feel like you're awake?
Yeah, I like to compare it to, you've got a machine, like I had an adding machine once and it got stuck and I just left it there and it just ground away working on this problem. And it kept grinding away and grinding away and grinding away until everything inside it was fried, and it caught fire. It actually had the fire department out. And our minds are like that. They will not let go of something that just is unresolved. These are the great questions we have. And we rely upon what we call our human brain to solve all these problems and make sense of it, and we can't, because we don't have the added experience of our inner spirit or our consciousness that was here before us, knows why we're here, knows where we're going. It should be our guide. So I'm talking about something very different from common stress streams.
Right, because it sounds to me like common stress streams are still with the conscious, the conscious mind, its consciousness in this ordinary reality versus the introspective one. Is that correct?
Well, yeah. This is where you're semi-awake. I like to say, are you really asleep? And unless you're really, really asleep, your inner consciousness cannot come out because your physical brain is still in charge, and you're still feeling things, and you're still emotionally connected to this here and now, and you are still this endless mind loop we have within us. In our monkey minds, we are like playing through these loops of things that we can let go. And so when we think we're at rest, the mind says, okay, now I can resolve these questions. Well, it can't, because as my teacher, Lewis Gittner, said, when you're asleep, when you're semi-conscious, you really think you're going to be more alert? You're not. You're not at your best. So you couldn't resolve these things when you were wide awake and really, sitting up and analyzing them. And you can't now. So the problem is most people, they don't really know how to put themselves to sleep. We only go through some motions of some restfulness where we don't get a good night's sleep, and our inner consciousness is forever banished to depths, while our physical mind plays these games with us, and it's frustrating.
So the physical mind is still running the show. Does that mean that our brain waves are still in beta instead of alpha or theta?
Yeah, that's it. And you're there, and you're stuck. You're stuck in this, and you can't really get unstuck. The only way you can get unstuck is if you resolve to put your physical self to sleep, really to sleep, so the body is numb, feels nothing. It no longer has a sensation connection to the five physical senses. You're no longer getting emotional input in this way. You've turned off your mind. Well, you say, how can you turn off your mind? So this is the problem that has vexed people for years that have tried to meditate. And it's no different when you try to go into a state of lucid dreaming. The trick is really to reach an inner harmony where your physical mind, your brain, agrees to just kind of relax, let it go, just kind of you turn it off, and let your inner consciousness come forward, which is it's going to do. I guarantee it's going to do the minute you give it permission to do so. And once you put your physical mind to rest, that is the problem why people cannot have these meaningful, impactful, insightful dreams of a lucid nature.
So if we're laying there tossing and turning, and the monkey mind's just grinding away, like you say, and yet we can't meditate for the same reason, how do we put ourselves into that state?
Yeah. What I finally did was, and I knew something about meditation, which would be a way to do it. I started studying hypnosis, and I became fairly good at self-hypnosis. I would, which is somewhat similar. I would put myself to sleep. I would start with my feet. I would order my feet to become numb and heavy, and then my legs, and then my torso, and then my arms and my chest, and I'd work my way up to the top of my head where even my hair felt nothing. There was nothing. It was just dense and heavy, and it was asleep. And finally, I would tell my mind, my physical brain, to go to sleep. And to do that, you have to reach an inner harmony of body, mind, spirit. And this is very important. You have to have an inner agreement that your physical mind is going to willingly shut down for a while, go to sleep, like the rest of your body, so that your inner consciousness can come forward. And that is who you really are. That is your inner spirit.
So it sounds like you were using a form, well, hypnosis, but also active relaxation to kind of take
Yes.
to kind of take the
Yes.
A, focus inward, and B, take the body into a more relaxed state.
Correct.
How do you then deal with the mind?
The mind is going to be just fine until your consciousness, your conscious mind, returns from the dream and does a handoff. What it does is it lands back in the body, because and then at that moment there is some dim awareness that you've reunited spirit and body. And then at that time you do what I call a handoff, which is kind of a meditation, introspective meditation, where you allow yourself to absorb the information. And then the mind absorbs the information, because the mind wasn't really there. And it has no frame of reference other than what becomes secondhand handed off information. So it has some guideposts of what it can't analyze it, because it wasn't there. And so overanalyzing a lucid dream is a bit dangerous. So I think what most people forget is that when you return from a lucid dream, it's very important to lie there in bed and allow your consciousness and your physical brain to exchange the information, not in the normal way that you're going to analyze it, the way our brain likes to do things, but simply absorbs it. And
So
more,
like throw it into the memory banks?
yeah, it needs to record it's almost like notations or an outline of what happened. It is without conjecture, I think, is the important thing. Because our physical mind always likes to analyze everything, and what the conscious mind takes away from this is simply that it absorbs the information, and it's like a download. It kind of envelops it, and it drinks it in, and it becomes the message. It becomes the information.
Well, we're about out of time in this segment. We have a little bit to go yet.
Mhm.
So do you find, so far you laid there and you've kind of recorded it in your mind, and then do you find it's important to journal a few things so that you have an anchor back?
Yeah. So what you do is then, after you've done this download, then you can get up and you can sit down and you can make an outline of what you've experienced, like a dream journal. But I would caution people against overanalyzing it. But it's like, where was I? What I experienced, like this, and so you'll begin to see a pattern, especially if you have recurring or continuation dreams.
Well, it's time for us to take that station break. Vaughn and I will be returned very shortly, so don't go away. This is Mission Evolution, www.missionevolution.org.
Am I only dreaming? Is this burning? I have just closed my eyes again.
chain. Try to take away my worries of today and leave tomorrow behind. Ooh, dream weaver, I believe.
What if you wake up dreaming? With us this hour discussing the mysterious dreamscape is the author of Lucid Dreams, Von Braschler. Von, we were talking about how, you're in the monkey mind and you're tossing and you're turning and you're not really in the dreamscape. The
Right.
brain is still running the show.
Right.
But then I've heard people have this experience. They finally fall asleep, right? And all of a sudden they're dreaming, but they kind of wake up in the dream. What's going on there?
Yeah, that's when you become truly aware that you're dreaming, and that's really part of the lucid dreaming experience, when you actually understand that you're in a dream, and you wake up to the dream, and then you become an active party to the dream. It's very important to actually acknowledge that you're in a dream, so that you can fully experience everything and make good use of the dream.
So, again, a lot of people, they kind of wake up in the dream, but taking that giant leap to being able to be an active participant, how do you do that?
That's it. So I think it's very important when you reach that level where you say, "Oh my gosh, I'm aware that I'm dreaming," and I always say, like, examine yourself, see that you're there, and you will not have a physical body in the same sense you have this physical body, unless you're actually visiting yourself in a previous life, which is quite interesting. That you realize, I'm witnessing myself, or I'm experiencing myself, but you become aware of your presence. You become aware of everything around you, and so it's very important to actually become acutely aware of everything in the dreamscape. So you actually understand that you're actually somewhere else, you're actually there, and you're actually participating in it. And this could be an actual event of the past. It could be current time, or it could even be future time. It could be virtually anywhere, because there is no time-space in where we're describing, the dreamscape, because this is beyond the physical.
And it's kind of beyond our concept of linear time, too, isn't
Yeah.
it?
It
Yeah.
is. It is.
So how can you tell if you're participating or visiting a past life, or if it's metaphorical?
Well, okay. So, well, if you're visiting a past life, you're acutely aware that this was you, and you can. There's a karmic attraction too when you actually encounter your previous lives. You feel a karmic attraction to you, and you say this. You just know it. You intrinsically know it. You feel it deep down in you that was you, even though it may not resemble you, physically speaking. You will become acutely aware of this. So what I encourage people to do is actually program their lucid dreams, so they can actually have specific destinations, and actually set up the events and the times that they want to visit. And then it's much more meaningful as far as, insight. Now, otherwise your consciousness is going to pre-select for you. It's going to select where it wants to go, because your inner consciousness has a drive, has a sense of destiny, to explore and reveal.
So how do you set up these dreams? That sounds
Yeah.
like a mystery to me.
This
Do you do it when you're awake?
Well, this is the key, and I'm working on something now. It'll be more of a step-by-step guide. But yes, you want to actually visualize, have a visualization of where you're going to go. And I do this like an agenda, but you can't make an agenda with words in it or sounds. It's just like pictures. So you draw with pictures. This is very important, because when you get back into like words and sounds, and you're dredging up memories, and then you're using, an alphabet, this then involves the analytical mind, which is like, how do I spell this word? What does it look like on a piece of paper? You visualize it in terms of like drawing it or painting it. So like it's like a picture. So I say, paint a picture where you want to go, what you want to see, and what you want to encounter there. It can be very detailed. You say, I want to know something in my past. You pick the past. Is it a past life, or simply when you were young? And who would I want to be there, and what is it that I would like to know about it? And you can kind of program that in, and I call that programming a lucid dream.
So let me see how this works. Okay, so before I go to bed,
Yep.
I'm sitting down, and probably, ideally, I would have a journal. And in my mind's eye, I paint where I would like to go, what time frame, whether it's this life or another, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And then I lay down and I go to sleep.
Yeah,
And
and
hopefully I wake up in that dream.
you want to kind of meditate in that too. You want it to be relaxed. You want to be in a relaxed state when you do this, and you want to put the body to sleep. You want to put the mind to sleep, and then you can pre-visualize that you're going to do this. You're going to leave the body and let the consciousness come out. But at some point, it's very important that you actually invite your inner consciousness to come forward and lead you on. It becomes your guide, and this is what is going to take you outside the body, beyond time and space. And this is what's going to make the lucid dream happen, because there is no up and down. There's no sense of then and now. It's just all like free flow. It is like anything can happen in the lucid dream.
So you've gone to a place, but you controlled where you've gone to, but you're not controlling what happens.
Yeah, yeah. It's going to be revealed to you what happens, and usually you start with a question. I know people love to go and like they do, like in divination, the tarot. You ask a question. Well, this is what you do in setting up a lucid dream. You say you have a profound question you want to know, and then you have an idea, or if it's a continuation dream, you want to go to a place because you think that place or that time or that setting or those characters that you summon up in your dream are going to be meaningful to you. And you can actually visit the past.
So how do going backwards a little bit, how do you invite your inner consciousness to come forward? How do you
Yeah.
do that?
This is the part that really throws a lot of people, because they think that, so many people think that you have to develop the mind, and have mental powers to do this. No, no, no. You need to tune out the physical mind. In Hindu philosophy and Eastern spiritual science, they call that the mind is the slayer of the mind. No, that's not quite it either. It's a bad translation of the Sanskrit. It's simply that it needs to lay to rest, and so you need to reach an inner harmony of body, mind, and spirit. You say, okay, now I'm going to let my inner spirit take me somewhere and reveal something to me quite profound. And I maintain that when you do this, you become then truly awake, because we're kind of sleepwalking through life, if you think about it. I mean, during the course of our day, we're just kind of absent-mindedly stumbling around, because our inner self, our true self, our inner consciousness is never really that much involved. And so then the lucid dream becomes a window to the soul.
So it sounds like you're using intent a lot to do this. Is that
Yes.
correct? Yeah, okay.
It's visualization, intent, and that's it. You've got it. And focus.
Focus. Yeah. So once you're in there and you ascertain that, and I've woken up into my lucid dream, have you kind of set the mind, okay, your only job is just to record and then
No.
go on about your business?
The inner mind will not record it until you've returned from the dream.
Gotcha. Okay.
And at that time, then you could do what you might call a download. I said, I think of it as letting the mind kind of sponge or absorb what is the consciousness brings back. And then the consciousness truly stores it away. And the real meaning of the lucid dream is going to be stored in your consciousness, because this is your continuation. This is your eternal you. These are like profound personal insights. It doesn't tell you like things you need to know, like how to speak French fluently or something. That's all the mental, brain. And so this is a whole different aspect of you.
You mentioned that you can set yourself up to take a lucid dream into the past. Can you set yourself up to take a lucid dream into the future? And if
Yes,
so, what does that look like?
Yes, you can, and it's a bit jarring, and I kind of I don't want to discourage it, because I know that many shamans have done this, and many mystics in the East have done this, but it's like, are you really prepared to see what it's going to be like? Because I think it's a bit scary for some people to find our existence is going to be very, very different in the future. We're constantly changing. Evolution is constant. There's nothing as true as change. The constancy of change is what is driving everything.
Well, if you're going into the future, and it's that kind of indicates that the future's predestined, but you're saying it's evolutionary as well. So how can you know which future you're going into?
Well, it's a little bit both, and people think of the Akashic records is that it knows everything about what's going to happen. It knows the direction of the current of energy that'll probably take us there. In other words, probability. So there's a certain probability, and it's like, okay, I mean, if you're going to study astrology or tarot or numerology, you're going to talk about probability. There's no certainty, because there's many different things that can change the future, but you're going to see the way things seem to be going, and you will visit a probable future, and it's like, well, it's very probable it's going to be like that, but it's not an absolute certainty. There's something that can always change at the last minute, because everything is involved in the final equation. Everything is involved with many ripple effects of one life and another life, and one event and another event that are encroaching on the total picture and affecting everything.
Well, it's that magic moment, Vaughn. We're going to be taking another station break. Vaughn and I will be right back to continue our discussion, so you stay right there. This is Mission Evolution, www.missionevolution.org.
Today and leave tomorrow behind. Oh, dream weaver, I believe you can get. Yeah, yeah. Crying on my pillow, lonely in my bed. Then I heard a voice beside me, and she softly said, "Wonder is your nightlight, magic is your dream." And as I held her, she said, "See what I mean?" I said, "What?" She said, "Ooh-wee." I said, "All right." She said, "Love me, love me, love me, undercover angel, midnight fantasy."
Can we change the future in our dreams? This is Mission Evolution, missionevolution.org. With us discussing dreams is Von Braschler. You can find Von on his Facebook page, facebook.com/vbraschler. Von, we were talking about how you can visit the future in your dreams and how you're kind of visiting a probability. And I take that to mean there's a wave, of a current that moves through life. And if you're visiting the future, you're visiting that current and the probability of where it'll take you personally. So far, so good?
I think that's it.
Okay. So if that's the case and we see something that's not to our liking, can we change it in our dreams and live it differently?
No.
Rats!
I mean, I've written a lot on time travel, and I think that we have to recognize that when we go outside of ourselves physically, we're going in a consciousness body or an energy body, and this is a very powerful entity. This is your spirit self. This is your energized consciousness. It can go anywhere, see anything. But it doesn't have the traction of our physical, our bodies, which are agents of change. So the beautiful thing about being physically here is you can pick things up and carry it. You can grab a pen and sign a document. You can dig a hole and fill it up with a shovel. Your consciousness can't do that. So you see, you're very limited. You can send energy, which will probably impact you. It'll come right back to you now. But you cannot, all you can really do, and this is quite significant, is you can observe and understand what has happened and what will happen, which is very important for the continuation of our souls. And our life journey is very long. Mission evolution is a long, long process, and it's never going to end. We're evolving, and we're part of many people that are evolving, and in our lives impact other lives, and they impact our lives. But when we go outside of our body in spirit, as in lucid dreaming, with our consciousness leaving as energy, then you will observe things because you'll have acute sense of awareness if you learn to control it, but you can't really change anything there. You're not physically able to change anything there. This is the beauty of manifest energy.
So, how about we do what you suggested? We come back, we lay in bed, we recall and download what was going on in the future. Then, as that comes to us in our day-to-day life, and we're in our physical body where the rubber hits the pavement, if you will,
Yeah.
can we make different choices and experience a different outcome as a result of the knowledge that we have gained?
Absolutely. Absolutely. What the knowledge is power, right? And the question I always get from people after I do these interviews, frankly, is how do I go back and make things right? It's like, it's like you do have the beauty, if you think about it, the understanding through these experiences of realizing that nothing is ever lost. Things are constantly in a state of change. Our body is every month is completely changing. We're not the same person we were a year ago, for sure. Physically, but you I don't. Does that answer the question?
Well, it did. And so, if we're dealing in the past, okay, in a dream, we've chosen to lucid dream into our past,
Yeah.
and like you say, well, make it right. What does that look like?
Yeah.
Can the lucid dream actually change the way we view what was, to where we
Yeah.
reframe it? I mean, because things aren't
Yeah.
right or wrong. It's just how we look at them, right?
The consciousness learns by awareness, and it doesn't analyze, but it becomes aware, and it absorbs it, and it internalizes the message within us deep on a spirit level, and then we have an intimate knowledge or awareness of something. So then we become, as we travel throughout time and observe things, we understand that what was lost is not ever really lost, because the past is alive. Your lost loved ones are still with you, because that moment lives forever. In the future that is to come, it's like to be eagerly anticipated. So we have this great sense of loss because things are constantly changing, but we have to get a grip on things because things physically are constantly changing, but nothing is really changing. It's only transforming.
Okay. So if we can contact, this got me interested. If we go to our past, or we can contact our lost loved ones, people that are on the other side, can we communicate with the dead through our lucid dreaming?
You could have some sense of communication, but be aware that they, you have no ears, you have no voice, you cannot speak. You can send a conscious message to them, it'll be telepathic, and they can pick up on that. And so, I mean, I've actually done that in the past, but it's like, it's a little different, it's you're going to be absorbing it like, it's kind of like when we say like, oh, a muse was whispering in my ear. Yeah, somebody or something or someone probably was whispering in your ear. And this happens all the time. There are unseen voices, speaking to us. These are spirit communications. So yes, there's a sense of a spirit communication, but it's not going to be like a dialogue you can transcribe and read back, verbatim.
So I just kind of had an insight that may or may not be accurate. So when you're saying we're lucid dreaming, and you say we're not in a body, not even in a dream body, we're just an observer to all of this. Is that correct?
You're an observer. Now you're going to have a body. It's going to be like more or less like an astral body, which many people cannot see, even their own, or even people that it's very rare that you will pop in on somebody in this fashion, even with an astral body, and they will perceive you. They have to have a certain level of awareness themselves. So it basically you're just popping in and eavesdropping, like it's like a fly with 1,000 eyes.
We're a ghost in our own dreams.
Yeah, that's it.
Pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
So another interesting topic, and you just started it, so it's all your fault. Is communicating with other people that are alive through lucid dreaming. Can we agree to meet in our dreams?
Absolutely. And so I try to explain here and there how to do this. You can have a shared dream. There can be a group dream. It's easiest if there's somebody who's very close to you and has a karmic connection to you, ideally a twin or a sibling, a loved one, mother, daughter, father, son sort of thing. Someone very, very close to you, the closeness seems to help. And then what you do is you agree that you're going to have a certain dream. You're going to dream a certain thing in a certain place at a certain time. And so you leave and you have this lucid dream simultaneously. And you don't even have to be in the same room. I mean, you could be miles and miles apart. So this could be a way for people who are separated to actually unite in their dreams.
So, but on the other side, you said we're a ghost in our dreams. So are we showing up in our lucid dreams where we can see each other, or how's that looking?
Well, I think when you set it up, you're going to come back, and you both had what you thought was kind of a one-off when you were there alone experiencing it. The other one said, I experienced the same thing. I saw the same thing you saw. So you're probably not going to be aware of the other one,
But you set it up so that you have a very similar, if not identical, experience.
It's very good to do it this way, especially when you're getting good and practicing setting up lucid dreams, because then you can have someone to compare notes with as to what happens and how it went, and you have a shared experience.
Like triangulating the information to go deeper into it. Okay.
That's it.
Okay. So I hear a lot of talk of soul teams, and a lot of us that have come here at this time to really participate in providing things that'll help people through this, particularly in our accelerated evolutionary times.
Yeah.
In a spontaneous dream versus one you've chosen, can you possibly be, because I wake up sometimes feeling like I've been working with somebody that I know. Okay.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Yeah. You're going to have a cluster of souls, that you incarcerate. that you're going to encounter these people again and again and again as you come back into this existence, assuming that you have lived before, you'll live again, and these people are your soul, at your soul group, and there's maybe a dozen, give or take, and they'll be like more or less on the same evolutionary level as you. And in your evolutionary awareness and level of awareness will change visibly as the little speck of light that is your eternal spark changes color over time. And you'll learn to recognize the spark as you move through life. Now, you're going to encounter these people again and again, maybe knowingly or unknowingly, as your spouse, your mother, your child, your next door neighbor. You'll encounter them, and hopefully you'll work together on projects together, and you'll become, you'll go through life experience from one incarnation to another with this person, and there'll be several like this, and you'll have an ongoing relationship with these people, and then between lives, you will then review with them what you've encountered, what you've experienced, and any progress you feel you might have made, and there'll be some discussion. And this is very good to have this kind of group experience, and because you're going through this together, but it's an individual process. All this evolution is very individual. No one can grow. Take you to this growth but you, but you'll have someone that you are going through this more or less together, although you're experiencing different lives, maybe different parts of the world.
Well, it is that magic moment again. Please stay with us as Vaughn and I continue to explore the hidden power of dreams. This is Mission Evolution, www.missionevolution.org.
Undercover angel, midnight fantasy. I never had a dream that made sweet love to me. Undercover angel, hands spend all your time waiting for that second chance, for a break that would make it okay. There's always some reason to feel not good enough, and it's hard at the end of the day. I need some distraction. Oh, beautiful release. Memories seep through my veins. It may be empty, or weightless, and maybe I'll find some peace tonight in the arms of the angel. Fly away.
Can we heal in our dreams? This is Mission Evolution, missionevolution.org. We're continuing our discussion with Von Braschler. You can find Von on his Facebook page, facebook.com/vbraschler. So, Von, I've just opened up another one. Can we actually affect physical healing through lucid dreaming?
Yes, I think it's very important to use the opportunity to get outside the body and repair ourselves from this perspective. I maintain that a person can develop a special healing place, a place of great personal power and protection, and your very special place. And I always encourage people to actually set up exactly where it's going to be. It's going to be very likely beside a stream, or on a cliff overlooking the ocean. It might be in the forest. Different people, different places. A place where you feel very, very comfortable and that becomes your very special place of revitalization. It's where you go, whether you're physically ill or emotionally distraught or spiritually empty, and it's where you go to be revitalized. And you can go there and become renewed. This is something you can do in a controlled dream. Everybody has this ability to do this. I'm surprised more people don't try.
So if I were to, God forbid, be given a cancer diagnosis
Yeah,
and
yeah,
end of life prediction,
absolutely.
um, if I focus on that particular area of my body and then set up the lucid dream to go to my sweet place, can I specifically affect a change in the
Yeah,
area that's being
yeah.
okay? Because I've heard of
Well,
a lot of people, coming into remission and making things totally go away through a series of meditation and lucid dreaming and this
yeah.
sort of thing.
Well, some people might have heard of the great mystic in this country, Swami Rama, and he worked at the Mayo Clinic and other hospitals, and he would actually manifest measurable levels of cancer in his own body, and he'd ask them to observe it, note it. Then he'd ask for a little time, and he'd remove the cancer, and he'd say, "Now, check me again." The cancer would be gone. And I thought a whole lot about this when I was diagnosed with cancer, and they had several uh, incidents where they actually filmed it, and it was on my spine, and I was
Mm.
scheduled for surgery, and I thought, my gosh, how do you do this? So I started going to my special place, sending energy to myself, and it always works. It comes right back to you now, and it's immediate, and it's a wondrous thing. So I said, give me some time, and then I want a comprehensive scan again. And then, of course, I showed no traces of cancer. And then I was told that I had colon cancer at one point, and I said, give me a little time, and then give me another colonoscopy, and it was gone.
That's
Uh,
fantastic.
there's nothing remarkable about me, believe me. And my ex-wife would tell you nothing at all remarkable about me. But everybody has this ability because we can visualize and change things. We have your consciousness is energized. It is the magic that makes everything in creation is energized consciousness, and we're a part of that consciousness, and we can tap a greater energy consciousness um, at will. And you can do it to heal yourself, but it works best when you get outside yourself and send energy to yourself. That's where it really works.
I know there's a shamanic practice whereby you can send healing or information to your future self from
Yeah,
from right now, and that works the same way, doesn't it?
yeah, and it'll come back to you now, which is very beneficial. It makes you very strong going forward, right? Which is what everybody really wants. And what I find is that you visit yourself in the past or even in the future, and it's like it always comes back to you right now. This is like my teacher used to call this the rubber band effect. He says it's going to snap back on you, Vaughn. He said, be ready. Because yeah, you can affect yourself. I mean, there's no karmic downside to this. This is you affecting you. You know, this is fine.
So sometimes when you're working in lucid dreaming towards the healing,
Yeah.
do other things come up then that you hadn't necessarily considered? Like, okay, you have a physical illness you're wanting to work on,
Yeah.
but it points out emotional issues that are causing factors.
Yeah. This is really important consideration you bring up. I mean, we heard on many levels. And we have many subtle body levels. We have an emotional body, mental body, a spiritual body, and when we hurt on one level, it'll impact all of the levels eventually. So you feel it like, oh, finally, oh, I'm sick. I ache. It's like, well, yeah, but what made you ache? It might have been spiritual. It might have been mental. might have been emotional. So you need to like you really need to do a deep cleaning. And that happens when you can go outside yourself and you can see yourself as the multi-layered being that you are, with subtle energy bodies and consciousness on all levels. Because I mean, all of these levels are conscious. All of these levels are energized. We actually are many people in one. And because of that, we can actually visit different planes of reality, which is kind of a different subject, I know. But we tend to think of this is it. Well, we live on just one little tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to us. There's the mental realm. There's their physical realm. There's the emotional realm. There's spiritual realms, several, and then there's realms within realms. There's emotional levels and there's spiritual levels. So there are worlds within worlds. We have access to all of them through our subtle energy bodies, and our consciousness can take us there.
Vaughn, it's that time in the show when I get to ask you, what's your mission?
Oh, it's to talk to you, Gwilda. No, my mission is the same as yours. I suspect it's mission evolution. It's so important that people understand. I think that there's much more to us than our physical bodies. There's a spirit that dwells within each one of us, which is our true self, our eternal self. It's the self that was you before, you were born in this life, and it'll be you later on. It's the continuation of who you will always be. And to understand that, that we're on this long course, and why you're here and who you are is so important. And any way we can uncover that to ourselves and gain that kind of self-awareness is very important.
So, how can we use our dreams to aid our personal and collective evolution?
Yeah, I try to explore every aspect of my past life. I basically I explore my past lives, and I explore other aspects and also parallel realities, and I try to go to these other realms and try to gain another perspective, because we see things from just one point of view, and there are other points of view, and I really want to know why I'm here and who I am, and what I should be doing, and what happens next, to be ready, because this isn't just some short little sprint we're on. It's a long endurance race.
Do we move back and forth in time in our
Yeah.
incarnations?
Yeah, all the time, and in our incarnations, uh, you always have access to other times, but you're tending to go well. Now, this is semantics. We always have the words in front of us, and we can't quite develop it. The past, and the present, and the future are actually occurring simultaneously. We simply are putting our feet on one part of the conveyor belt, and it's wherever you hop on, that's where you are. And you can choose wherever you hop on the conveyor belt. You can choose to be in 1650 or 2520. It's just a matter of selecting where you go. We have that ability.
How about other planets?
Absolutely. I mean, none of us were born here. Let's be real about this, and we're not going to end up here, because let's face it, we're going to blow this thing up. It's really sad to say, but it's gonna happen, and we'll all be somewhere else. Don't worry, folks. We'll all be together somewhere else.
Well, I'd kind of like to see the planet itself survive us, but this jury is certainly still out, isn't it?
Amen. I would like this to survive.
Well, hopefully we can evolve fast enough that we can turn it around where we are.
Yeah, yeah. I'd like to save the planet, if not for us, for the other inhabitants.
Yeah, all the critters. And we're just about out of time in the entire show. But do animals dream, and can they dance with the same thing, or are they stuck here on the planet and what we do to it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you'll encounter them in your dreams, and they'll be floating around too. And they have a different level of awareness, maybe, based on their, uh, spiritual evolution. But they dream and they meditate and they go through all this the same as we do. There's really no difference.
They might do it better than we do. Well,
Cats.
it's that magic time that we have to call it an end. Vaughn, thank you so much for coming on the show, and I wish you good health.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Always some reason to feel not good enough, and it's hard at the end.